Hello, and welcome to Dreamy Tales, a sanctuary where everyone can experience calm and a touch of magic before gently drifting into sleep. Tonight, we invite you on another enchanting journey, a story that helps soothe the mind and nurture a sense of peace. Before we begin, let's take a moment to prepare our bodies and minds for a comforting, restorative rest. Make yourself cozy, and with each slow inhale and long exhale, let the cares of the day gradually slip away. It's not always easy to step back from the day's demands, especially as night falls. Yet, remember, the less we worry about how quickly we'll fall asleep, the simpler it is for our minds to release any remaining tension. Allow the gentle flow of your breathing to wash away lingering concerns, and let the story ahead guide you into a state of deep relaxation. Now, settle in, and let the dreamy atmosphere softly wrap around you. Enjoy this story, and may you drift into a peaceful, restful slumber here on Dreamy Tales. Imagine an ocean, swift and deeply blue. Far out, where the sky dips to meet the water, sunlight ignites the horizon, a molten gold seam on the world's edge. Listen. Faintly, the cry of gulls drifts on the air, underscored by the rhythmic sigh of waves collapsing onto unseen sands. An island materializes from the haze. Its heart is a tangle of palms and dense green undergrowth, encircled entirely by shores of bleached gold sand. Sporadic, unassuming settlements nestle into the landscape, their details blurred by distance, almost indistinguishable from the wild terrain. From one such cluster of dwellings, a slender path snakes inland. And it is here, on this ribbon of earth, that your journey commences. A languid breeze stirs the palm canopy overhead. Your gaze lifts, captivated by the play of light on the tattered fronds, now gleaming gold, now shadowed green as they sway. Sunlight, fragmented, dances across your face. You lift a hand to shield your eyes. A shimmering luminescence bathes everything, lending the scene an otherworldly quality, as if you've slipped sideways into a pocket outside of time. Here, there's only you and the elements, intensely present, vibrantly alive in each passing second. The sultry air imposes a deliberate slowness upon the day. Time stretches, measured by the drone of unseen insects, the soft rustle of palm leaves, the glint of sun against your closed eyelids. This island holds a peculiar magic, you sense, unlike any place visited before. Secrets lie dormant beneath its surface, awaiting discovery, perhaps by you, perhaps by some future wanderer drawn to its shores. The notion resonates, a spark of intrigue, lending unexpected purpose to this otherwise aimless stroll through the balmy afternoon. The path ahead meanders deeper into the palm grove. Brittle, yellowed fronds, shed from the towering trees, accumulate in drifts along the trail's narrow shoulders. Occasionally, one strays onto the path itself, yielding with a dry, papery crunch beneath your step, like thick, waxed cardboard giving way. The air hangs warm, heavy with fragrance. You discern the sweet perfume of coconut and sun-ripened pineapple layered over darker, earthier notes. Old wood, damp soil. A distinct briny tang, the signature of salt and seaweed, weaves through it all. a constant reminder of the ocean's proximity. Here, the sea's vast presence is an undeniable force, a constant pull felt deep within. Each walk taken on this island has inevitably culminated on the shore, gazing out at that shimmering expanse of turquoise and sapphire. Moments have arisen, sharp and tempting, where you've longed to abandon the sand, to stride directly into the welcoming water, to swim, spin, and splash amidst the waves, utterly free, unbound. You grasp why chronicles overflow with sea-spun yarns, tales of those who chose the ocean's embrace. Whether driven by romance, daring, or sheer necessity, the decision to forsake solid ground for a life afloat holds a certain allure. To feel the groan of aged timbers underfoot, to hear the sharp snap of canvas catching the wind. These imaginings stir something within you. Continuing onward, the trail curves around a palm that has grown askew, its trunk leaning across the path. You reach out, your palm brushing against the rough, scaled bark as you step carefully over the slanted wood. A quiet acknowledgement passes through you. You are merely a visitor here, transient among these ancient trees. They have witnessed countless others tread this same way, heard the echo of innumerable footsteps, and will stand long after your own presence fades from this place. As you move, a delicate prickle of moisture forms on your skin. The days and nights share a persistent warmth, a humid embrace that makes the infrequent breezes a profound relief. One such current now whispers around you, cooling the back of your neck. For a fleeting instant, your mind sharpens, the dreamy haze momentarily lifting. The edges of the palm fronds appear crisper, the greens of the undergrowth more intensely vibrant. A fly buzzes past, its sound startlingly clear, merging with the pervasive electric hum of insects that fills the air like a living pulse. Beneath it all, you become aware of the steady, rhythmic beat of your own heart. Close your eyes, focus, sense the teeming life sheltered here beneath the palm's protective awning, hidden from the relentless sun. Your own pulse, the ceaseless insect chorus, the distant rustle of some small creature, a gull's lonely cry, the faint echo of human presence. The breeze subsides. The dreamlike state returns, the muggy warmth settling back over the grove like a thick blanket, muffling thoughts and sounds once more. It is you and the elements again, alive yet subdued, suspended in the heat. Your feet carry you onward, navigating the subtle undulations of the path. Now and then, a palm frond disintegrates under your shoe, or a patch of loose earth shifts slightly. Your gaze drifts languidly from tangled roots to dense foliage, to a sliver of intense blue sky glimpsed through the leaves, to a mound of damp, decaying matter gathered at the base of a trunk. Time flows unnoticed as you weave through the whispering palms. Then, the trail confronts a dense barricade of trees, packed so tightly that the world beyond is obscured. You halt, allowing your other senses to probe the unseen. Closing your eyes, you draw a slow, deep breath. The familiar scents return: pineapple, coconut, wet leaves, earth, seaweed, but the brine is sharper here, more insistent. Your nostrils flare slightly, responding to the salt. A new sound penetrates the forest's hum, the distinct crash and retreat of waves upon sand. The beach must be close. Looking intently, you spot a V-shaped opening between two adjacent palms, just wide enough to pass through. Placing your hands on the rough bark of each trunk for balance, you push through the intervening screen of overgrown vegetation. Beyond the greenery, a breathtaking panorama unfolds. A gloriously windswept beach. Golden sand stretches away in both directions, meeting the horizon's curve. Directly ahead, the deep cerulean water transforms into white-crested waves that surge and tumble onto the shifting shore. An eternal rhythm of advance and withdrawal. You descend towards the waterline. The damp sand bears the faint, darker outline left by a recent wave, a fleeting memory of its reach. You trace this ephemeral line with the toe of your shoe, stepping back just as the next wave rushes towards you. As the water surges near, you stoop, letting the warm brine flow over your fingers. Tiny grains of sand cling to your skin as the wave recedes, tugging gently. Straightening, you scan the length of the beach. In the distance, a large, dark silhouette rests upon the shoreline. You raise a hand to shade your eyes, straining to discern its form, but it remains an indistinct shape against the bright sand. Curiosity propels you forward. With each step, the incoming waves lap at your footprints, erasing them almost instantly. To an unseen watcher, it might appear as though you materialized directly from the sea, rather than emerging from the palm forest. You find yourself falling into step with the ocean's cadence, the rhythmic crash and sigh of the waves. The air here feels revitalizing compared to the heavy stillness amongst the trees. A sea breeze ruffles your clothes and evaporates the moisture on your skin, a pleasant coolness spreading over you. Occasional gusts lift curtains of fine sand, sculpting miniature, transient dunes along the berm separating forest from shore. Each gust also whips the blue water into a frenzy of white caps. Even from this distance, you can see the deeper water churning, restless. Soon, you are close enough to the dark shape to perceive details. It is, unmistakably, a large, old-fashioned wooden sailing ship, beached and derelict. It lists heavily to one side, resting at an unnatural angle. Gaping holes mar its hull, and sections of wooden paneling are missing from its flanks. You ponder its journey. Where was it bound when fate steered it onto these lonely shores? Who sailed aboard it? What tempest or misfortune led to its ruin here? Drawing nearer, the vessel's immense size becomes truly apparent. Standing beside it, you feel dwarfed by the towering hull, much of which is encrusted with salt, sand, and tenacious barnacles. Its dark, weathered wood presents an imposing silhouette against the brilliant sky. You crane your neck, tracing the lines of the masts upwards. A section of the keel is exposed. You reach out, touching the wood. The surface is rough, abrasive, as if years immersed in the deep have fundamentally altered it, transforming it from a man-made vessel into something belonging to the ocean itself. Thick, tangled strands of dried seaweed hang like decaying garlands from the wreck. Heavy, frayed ropes dangle limply, stirring occasionally in the breeze. They appear almost petrified, perhaps coated in ancient tar or simply transformed by time into curious artifacts a beachcomber might collect. Circumnavigating the wreck cautiously, you arrive at a breach in the hull. Peering inside reveals a cavernous storage hold, cluttered with wooden crates, sturdy chests, and burlap sacks. You rest a hand on the splintered wood framing the opening. In that instant, a peculiar sensation flows through you, a distinct feeling of being summoned, invited to explore this ruin. It's inexplicable, a magnetic pull emanating from the ship itself, as if it has singled you out. With a quick glance along the empty stretch of beach, you hoist yourself up and climb into the shadowy belly of the wreck. Muted daylight filters through scattered holes and cracks in the aged timbers, illuminating floating dust motes. The air inside is still, thick with the scent of dust and dry decay. Curiously, it feels drier here than outside, despite the hull's exposure. You detect faint, lingering aromas, perhaps dried vegetables, maybe straw, mingled with a sweet, burnt sugar fragrance reminiscent of old grains or caramel. Most crates and chests are secured with heavy iron padlocks, their secrets locked away. You investigate a few open sacks, but their contents have long since vanished or decomposed, leaving behind only remnants: a shriveled, rock-hard lemon, an empty glass bottle fitted with a tight stopper. Navigating the dimly lit labyrinth of cargo, you discover a narrow flight of stairs ascending to an upper level. A strange certainty settles upon you. You are safe here. It feels as though the ship itself welcomes your presence. Each wooden step groans under your weight, the sharp sound echoing unnervingly in the profound silence. A brief urge to move more quietly arises, quickly dismissed by the reminder that this vessel lies abandoned, forgotten. It is only you, the ghosts of cargo, the sand, and the sea. The stairs lead to what must have been the crew's quarters. Tattered, musty hammocks hang limply from ceiling beams or are strung between support posts, remnants left behind in the haste of abandonment. There is little else to hold your attention here. You continue upwards, towards the next level, which opens to the sky. The sudden brightness of the sun feels both welcome and jarring after the ship's shadowed interior. Your eyes adjust quickly, and you begin to meander across the exposed deck. You find the ship's wheel. The stout wood is weathered and cracked, yet standing there, one hand resting upon it, gazing out towards the endless sea, evokes a powerful sense of command. Captain, or perhaps helmsman, of this spectral vessel. the thought sparks curiosity about the people who once stood here. What were their stories? From where did they hail? Where did they vanish to after the wreck? Perhaps these questions will remain unanswered forever. Surprisingly, the masts, crafted from incredibly straight, sturdy tree trunks, still stand tall, defiant against time and tide. A flutter of movement near the base of the mainmast catches your eye. Intrigued, you approach. It could be a scrap of torn hammock or a piece of burlap sack, but as you draw closer, you see it is a piece of black fabric rippling fitfully in the breeze. Carefully, you lift aside the coils of heavy rope and a pair of rusted metal hooks that lie partially covering the fabric, keeping a firm hold on the cloth itself, lest a gust snatch it away. Once freed, you use both hands to unfurl it. What it reveals steals your breath. Stark white against the black background. A skull grins sightlessly above crossed bones. As the realization, pirates, crystallizes in your mind, a stronger gust of wind whips one side of the flag from your grasp. For a moment, it streams out horizontally, snapping taut in the warm breeze, just as it would have flown from the masthead. The skull seems to mock the wind, alive in its movement. You imagine spying this very flag through a telescope as the ship bore down upon you. Then, a different image forms. Sailing beneath this emblem yourself, the grinning skull heralding your arrival on distant shores. The wind eases, and the flag hangs loosely in your grip once more. You fold it with deliberate care and replace it beneath the weight of the ropes and hooks. Now, there is one place you must find: the captain's quarters. It doesn't take long to locate the door and push it open, stepping into what were clearly the most comfortable accommodations aboard. Light streams through the large, slanted stern windows, illuminating the space behind a substantial wooden desk. A fine patina of dust coats every surface, and tiny drifts of wind-blown sand have collected in the corners. The wooden floorboards, though scarred by time, possess an enduring elegance, as do the tarnished light fixtures and the various nautical instruments scattered about the room. On the desk lies a stack of papers. You handle them gently, leafing through the brittle sheets. Yellowed with age, many pages are already crumbling at the edges. You make out lists of cargo, ports of call, names that might constitute a crew or passenger manifest. Whether these documents belonged to the pirate captain or a predecessor, you cannot know. Turning from the desk, you move towards a window seat offering a commanding view over the ship's stern and the vast blue expanse beyond. If you were the captain, you think, this is where you would spend hours, gazing at the horizon, lost in dreams of adventures past or those yet to unfold. Leaning against the seat cushions, you feel something solid behind you. Reaching back, you retrieve a long cylindrical wooden case. Carefully, you unscrew the two halves and extract a rolled parchment from within. As you unroll it, revealing its contents, A profound sense of understanding washes over you. This is what the ship intended for you to find. In your hands rests a beautifully rendered map. Studying it closely, you realize it doesn't depict some far-flung, unknown land as you might have expected. It appears to be a map of this very island, and there, marked just inside the tree line, not far from your current position, is a bold, dark X. X marks the spot. For what, you cannot be certain, but an undeniable conviction arises. You are meant to uncover it. Your gaze sweeps the room, landing on a long-handled shovel leaning against one wall. An odd place for a shovel, you muse. Or perhaps not. Perhaps this map explains the ship's final voyage to this island centuries ago. Perhaps the crew was preparing to venture ashore, to seek whatever lay hidden in the forest, when disaster struck, wrecking their vessel. Somehow, in the chaos, the map and the shovel were left behind. With a final, lingering look out the window, you turn, stand, and take the shovel as you exit the cabin. Back onto open deck, you pause, struck again by the faded grandeur of the ship. In its prime, it must have been a spectacular sight, bustling with life and purpose, sailing proudly under the watchful gaze of its black flag. Carrying the map and shovel, you descend the stairs, past the ghostly crew quarters, down into the deepest, darkest recesses of the hold. From the storage area, you carefully navigate back to the damaged section of the hull and climb out onto the sand, while the solid ground beneath your feet is a relief. A faint shiver traces your spine as you recall the almost magical aura of being aboard the pirate ship. Consulting the map, you locate a small dotted line leading into the forest, originating between two distinctly crossed palm trees depicted near the shore. You scan the actual tree line, searching for this landmark. It doesn't take long to spot them. Two palms whose trunks intersect, forming an almost perfect natural X. The sand immediately surrounding the wreck is soft and deep. Your feet sink with each step, sliding slightly down miniature slopes, leaving deep impressions. But the distance to the berm-dividing beach from forest is short. Stepping up onto the firmer ground of the berm, littered with pebbles, dry sticks, and fallen fronds, you follow the edge of the trees until you reach the crossed palms. Bending slightly, you pass beneath the point where they intersect, feeling as though you are stepping through an unseen portal. A small carving on the right-hand trunk catches your eye. Etched into the bark is a miniature circle positioned above an X, a simplified, almost abstract skull and crossbones. You are undoubtedly on the correct path. Now, back within the forest's embrace, you notice the light has changed. It's considerably dimmer than earlier. Sunset approaches, and the shadows are lengthening, heralding the coming evening. A soft, cool breeze drifts inland from the beach, tempering the air in this part of the grove. Ahead, you discern what might be a faint footpath, winding deeper among the trees. Its course roughly matches the dotted line on your map. You decide to follow it. Dried fronds crackle underfoot, splitting cleanly, while the insects intensify their humming chorus, shifting into their evening symphony. Further along, the path leads into a secluded grove, a distinct cluster of palms. On the map, this group of trees appears to encircle the spot marked with the X. You approach the nearest tree, examining the rough texture of its trunk. Just as you suspected, the same small circle and X mark is carved there. You move to the next tree, finding the mark again. Systematically, you walk the perimeter of the grove, checking each trunk. Each time your fingers brush the coarse bark, you feel a deepening connection to this enchanted place, increasingly enveloped by its dreamlike essence. Perhaps it is that same magnetic pull you felt on the ship, or perhaps simply the knowledge held by the map that draws you inexorably towards the center of the grove. As you step into the heart of the circle of trees, you know you have arrived. There, on the ground before you, lies a large X, meticulously formed from carefully arranged pebbles of diverse colors. The stones glitter softly in the fading sunlight, filtering through the palm canopy. X marks the spot. You whisper aloud, the words barely disturbing the quiet, feeling the solid weight of the shovel in your hand. You pause for a moment, absorbing the tranquil beauty of the forest, appreciating the artistry of this simple sign laid out so long ago. You don't know who left these marks, who charted this map, but you offer a silent thanks for leading you on this captivating quest. The insect hum seems to swell, focusing your attention on the pebble marker. Lifting the shovel, you position its pointed tip on the earth beside the stones and begin to dig. Seconds stretch into minutes, marked only by the rhythmic thud of the blade biting into the soil. The warm air settles around you, heavy and still. You feel moisture gathering on your arms, the back of your neck. A light breeze sighs through the leaves overhead, carrying the promise of cooler air waiting on the beach. You will return there soon, but not until you have finished what you came here to do. Then, a distinct metallic clink resonates through the shovel's handle. It has struck something solid, unyielding. The tool jumps slightly in your grasp. Setting it aside, you kneel beside the shallow hole. Using your hands, you brush away the loose earth from the object the shovel revealed. A large wooden chest, reinforced with heavy iron bands. The familiar scents, coconut and pineapple, damp leaves and seaweed, flood your senses, grounding you firmly in this place, this moment. Taking a deep breath, you grasp the lid and heave. With a protesting creak, the chest opens. Inside, gemstones, gold, and silver coins gleam dully, catching the dusty shafts of light that penetrate the grove. Old papers, yellowed and fragile, some bound with leather thongs, are piled in one corner. Garnet rings and emerald-studded necklaces lie jumbled together with delicate hat pins, bundles of notes, and tarnished doubloons. And there, resting gently atop the glittering hoard, is a small, delicate glass bottle containing a rolled message. You cannot decipher the writing. It faces away from you. As you carefully lift the bottle, something inside shifts, striking the glass with a faint jingle. A small coin, perhaps, or a piece of jewelry. As far as you can discern, you are the sole keeper of this secret. This knowledge rests between you and the island. Only the droning insects and the ancient palms have borne witness to your discovery today. You place the message bottle carefully beside the hole and gently close the lid of the treasure chest. Your secret is safe, you murmur to the silent grove. Then, taking up the shovel, you refill the hole, replacing the earth. But instead of recreating the simple X with the pebbles, you arrange them into the shape you saw carved on the trees. An X surmounted by a circle. Gathering the shovel, the map, and the glass bottle, you make your way out of the palm grove, ducking once more beneath the crossed trunks. Retracing your steps, you follow the tree line, cross the berm, and walk across the soft sand, back towards the silent, waiting pirate ship. Climbing back through the breach in the hull, you ascend the creaking stairs to the captain's quarters. There, you leave the map and shovel, returning them to their resting place. Then, you proceed out onto the open deck, emerging just as the sun begins its final descent. The sky along the western horizon ignites in fiery reds, feathered with streaks of deep orange that bleed into the darkening blue above. You turn the small glass bottle absently between your fingertips, listening to the faint, intriguing jingle from within. One day, you will uncap this bottle. One day, you will read the message curled inside, when you feel ready for whatever new adventure it might herald. And one day, perhaps when the time feels right, you will return to the forest, to the treasure buried beneath the circle and the cross. But for now, in the gathering twilight, you remain here, aboard the old pirate ship. You breathe in the salt-tinged air, listen to the ancient timbers groaning softly beneath your feet. Imagine the powerful snap of black sails catching the wind, and feel the profound, exhilarating freedom of a life lived at sea, chasing endless horizons. Pale gold sunlight dapples the quiet country lane you trace with unhurried steps. Here, in England's northern Lake District, spring breathes a still, crisp air across the April morning chill. Along the roadside, sycamore trees tentatively unfurl their first buds, though a drift of winter's cast-off leaves lingers on the grassy verge. A quick glance confirms solitude. A deliberate scuff of your boot sends the brittle foliage airborne. Red, amber, burnt orange, nut brown, they spiral against the piercing blue canvas of the sky before settling. Beneath your walking boots, a satisfying crackle and crunch marks your passage. A private smile touches your lips. A weathered sign announces your arrival in the hamlet of Loweswater. Your breath plumes white before you, yet the sun lays a surprising warmth upon your cheek. Tucking your chin deeper into the collar of your substantial coat, you round a corner to the right. An outstretched hand trails along the adjacent dry stone wall. Light gray granite blocks, stippled with white lichen discs and patches of deep green, earth-fragrant moss, offer their rough texture to your fingertips, a gentle abrasion. The turn unveils a different vista. Broad, open pastures stretch before you, dotted with sheep navigating the long, dew-kissed grass. Beyond them loom 3 distinct fells. As you proceed and the sun climbs higher, light slowly sculpts their stony crevices and scattered shrubbery, illuminating the deep valley whose entrance they sentinel. Even at this remove, the iron-gray stillness of Crummock water is visible, a silent mirror. Yet, those fells are not your destination. This day holds a particular promise. Cresting a wooden stile, you behold the reason for your journey. In a small meadow encircled by alder and ash, a hot air balloon awaits ascension. No one else is present. Its rainbow-paneled envelope swells and subsides like a resting giant. Crossing the field towards it, the radiant heat from the burners intensifies with each step. As you near, an inquisitive squirrel ventures closer, assessing the intrusion. Just as your hand touches the wickerwork gondola, the burners emit 2 swift, almost eager bursts of flame. The invitation seems clear. The squirrel, deciding ballooning holds no appeal, darts back to the hedgerow's safety. With as much grace as you can muster, you hoist yourself aboard. The basket's interior is Spartan. A blanket, a cushion, and, tucked in one corner, a small wooden box. Walnut, perhaps, or rosewood, its construction simple yet meticulous. It wears its age openly. The lid's edge is worn to a significantly lighter hue than the rest, and tracing the knotted grain reveals a smoothness born of countless touches over many years. A soft squeak accompanies the lifting lid. Within lies a folded paper. It unfurls as you lift it, releasing a rich, woody scent of time itself. A map of the Lake District. A tiny crimson dot marks your current position, nestled precisely between the waters of Loweswater and Crummock. As you move to refold the map, a second slip of paper flutters free. It twists, spins, descends towards the basket floor, but a swift stoop captures it between 2 fingers. Unfolding it reveals handwritten script. No signature, no sender. Just 5 words. I know where to go. A sudden roar and flare from the burners. You feel the basket give a minute, buoyant lift from the earth. This vessel truly seems possessed of intent. You tuck the map into your pocket. Another pulse of heat, and the ascent begins in earnest, so smooth it's almost imperceptible. Higher you climb, and higher still. The crowns of the tallest ash trees now reside beneath you. Gazing down, the sheep in the fields have become minuscule specks, smaller than your smallest fingernail. Rising further, the balloon escapes the valley's lingering shadow. The morning sun floods in, seeming to fill your very being with light and a profound contentment. Weightlessness embraces you. Silence reigns, absolute save for the occasional breath of the burners. The air smells pristine, elemental. With altitude comes revelation. More and more of the lakeland panorama unfolds. Now level with the hilltops, a vast sweep of the Lake District lies below. You retrieve the map once more. Far to the south, the delicate iron latticework of Blackpool Tower pierces the horizon, an echo of Eiffel, opened in 1894. Shielding your eyes against the ascendant sun, you can discern the distant glint of the ocean beyond the Cumbrian coast. A faint, definite salt tang drifts on the cool morning breeze. Birds wheel and glide on unseen currents nearby. The surrounding hills and fells are draped in gold and green by the early light. Aeons of wind, water, and time sculpted these intricate gullies, fissures, streams, and hidden dells. Ice ages, spanning 2 million years, cloaked this region in glaciers, their slow, inexorable passage carving the U-shaped valleys and gouging the deep lakes at their hearts. You spot smaller hillside pools, tarns, nestled near some peaks. Leaning against the basket's rim, you draw a deep breath. Gratitude for the sheer spectacle washes over you. Closing your eyes, you let the sunlight bathe your face, your neck. A wave of tranquility descends, flowing from your crown down through shoulders, arms, hands, to your fingertips, cascading through your torso, hips, down each leg to the very soles of your feet. Opening your eyes, a glance over the edge reveals you are drifting above a twin-peaked hill. Recognition dawns. Hencomb. You must be heading south. Indeed, looking down the valley, Buttermere's surface flashes in the sun. A quick check of the map confirms it. The little red dot has migrated down the valley, seemingly tracing your airborne path. You refold the map, pause, then look again. The dot is undeniably closer to Buttermere. Smiling, you stow the curious map away. Gliding along the valley, leaving Ennerdale Water behind, your gaze falls upon the tiny grazing sheep below. Suddenly, a pair of immense raptors streaks past beneath the basket. You follow their spiraling flight before they transition to deep, slow wing beats. Dark gray backs, rounded tails. One bird noticeably larger than its companion. As they wheel and bank, their speckled white and gray undersides become visible, along with the striking dark and white bands lining their wings. Long yellow legs are tucked beneath them, and deep amber eyes flash as they sweep past again. Goshawks, a rare privilege. These birds were nearly lost to this region. Even now, they remain elusive, preferring woodland haunts, nesting low among the trees. Those remarkable, crimson-tinged eyes grant them passage through dense forest light. The pair swoops in tandem, wings still moving with languid power, then turns away, dissolving into the brilliance of the rising sun. The azure sky now holds a subtle haze. You are high, yet the thin clouds drift higher still, impossibly distant. An unusual, beautiful halo encircles the sun, the signature of cirrostratus clouds, composed of minute ice crystals floating miles above the earth. They refract and reflect sunlight, creating this luminous effect. Looking eastward, towards the sea, the clouds appear denser, darker. A storm might be gathering out there. Westerly winds, traversing the Atlantic, gather moisture before encountering the Cumbrian peaks. Forced upwards, the moisture cools, condenses, and falls as rain, the very lifeblood of the Lake District's verdant lushness. The balloon has carried you towards a new congregation of peaks. One summit, however, asserts its dominance, seeming to rise slightly above its neighbors. You realize you are ascending to meet it. Scafell Pike, England's highest point. Consulting your map, you note its height, 978 meters. Tranquil today, but hundreds of millions of years ago, this was part of a vast volcanic island arc. More recently, around 20,000 years past, glaciers sculpted its formidable ridges and gouges, now clearly visible as you drift near its apex. Perhaps a dozen figures, clad in sturdy boots, waterproofs, and helmets, move with care towards the circular stone cairn marking the summit. They appear Lilliputian from your vantage. One walker glances up, spots the drifting balloon, and begins to wave. Gradually, companions notice, joining the salute. Grinning, you wave back until the peak has fully rotated past, and you begin a gentle descent on its far side. As Scafell Pike recedes, something unexpected catches your eye on an outcrop below, a large square shape with rounded corners. Peering intently, you discern 3 more shapes etched onto the ground. What could they be? As if sensing your query, the balloon dips lower. Now the shapes resolve into low walls, the spectral footprints of buildings erected centuries ago. You are gazing upon Hardknott Roman Fort. For nearly 2 millennia, it has stood sentinel on this isolated hilltop, guarding the pass. In the early 2nd century CE, soldiers under Emperor Hadrian raised this 3-acre bastion, one of Britannia's most remote outposts. The 4th cohort of Dalmatians, an infantry regiment drawn from modern-day Croatia and the Balkans, undertook its construction. Those outlines mark the garrison headquarters, the commander's dwelling, and a granary. The 500 soldiers stationed here likely lived in leather tents, parading on the flat expanse atop the hill. Men from across the known world, countless miles from home, striving to carve familiarity from this corner of northern England. Drifting down the Eskdale Valley, you ponder their perspective, looking up at these same crags and summits on a day like this. Surely, they too felt a sense of wonder at the stark, stunning landscape. With a soft, deliberate shift, the balloon alters course. You consult the map. The red dot now gravitates towards a peak labeled Old Man of Coniston, an amusing name for a hill, you muse. Looking ahead, then back at the map, you find new text has materialized beneath the name. It suggests a blend of ancient local terms, Celtic Alt-Mayan, High Stone, and Norse Konungstun, King's Farm. Others insist, however, that viewed from Coniston town, one of the hill's ridges perfectly resembles the profile of a reclining man. Passing the Old Man, the scars of bygone industry become clearer. Remnants of slate quarries and copper mines. Iron tracks for carts snake across the slopes. Skeletal remains of cable cars hint at tons of rock hauled, and derelict shacks evoke images of workers sheltering from Cumbrian downpours with steaming flasks. Today, silence holds sway. Soon, you crest the hill. A long, slender ribbon of water stretches before you. Coniston Water, one of the Lake District's largest lakes. You approach its western shore. Half a mile distant on the eastern bank, a substantial white house sprawls across the hillside. Its 3 stories embraced by gardens and woodland. Your map identifies it. Brantwood, home to the Victorian polymath John Ruskin. During the latter half of the 19th century, He rose to prominence as one of Britain's foremost thinkers, writing on subjects from mythology and archaeology to politics and literature. The map, it seems, has more to impart. Beside the outline of Brentwood, words slowly fade into view. Ruskin's own. When we build, let us think that we build forever. Let it not be for present delight, nor for present use alone. Let it be such work as our descendants will thank us for. And let us think, as we lay stone on stone, that a time will come when those stones will be held sacred, because our hands have touched them, and men will say as they look upon the labor and wrought substance of them, "See, this our fathers did for us." Surveying the lake below, the encompassing hills, valleys, and fields, you contemplate the landscape's endurance across millennia, subtly altered only by wind and time. You have witnessed sights familiar to Roman soldiers 2,000 years ago. Future generations will see what you see now. It's easy to feel time rushes past, swift as the wind. Yet, unknowingly, each day you lay a stone, then another, and another, adding yours to those laid by loved ones, by strangers passed on the street. A beautiful, resonant image forms in your mind. You close your eyes again, feeling the sun's warmth on your eyelids. The air is utterly still. A long, slow, deep inhalation. Hold it for a moment. Then release. A profound sense of ripeness settles within. The balloon, as if sensing your readiness for terra firma, begins its smooth, gradual descent. Down, down, down towards the earth. Coniston Village, its churchyard, pubs, grey slate houses, grows steadily larger. You continue drifting lower, the familiar pull of gravity returning. With a soft thud, you alight on the shingle beach at the water's edge. As the basket settles, you clamber over the side and walk towards the line of trees set back from the shore. The balloon, evidently, has further destinations. It's already lifting gently from the ground. Turning to watch, the burner flares twice. A warm, silent farewell. You track its ascent into the sky, across the lake, over Brentwood, rising higher and away. A final pulse of flame, and it diminishes, vanishing from sight. You hope, someday, your paths might cross again. The sun is fully risen now, casting warmth upon the beach. Your day began in the pre-dawn chill. A rest seems earned. Finding a comfortable spot beneath the dappled shade of silver birch trees, you lean against a smooth trunk and close your eyes. Faintly, church bells chime, their notes echoing down hillsides and across silent fields. Water laps softly against the shingle. The gentle bleating of sheep and their lambs drifts on the air. You breathe deeply. You recall the clouds observed earlier, drifting high and distant. Like them, you allow stray thoughts to enter your awareness, acknowledge them, and then let them float away. Gradually, enveloped by peace and the quiet sounds of the lake shore, you slip into a deep, contented sleep.